bring your vibes from all over the places, all over the globe, all on Relax Radio. So today I've got to speak about like an interesting topic. Like traveling is like really uncomfortable with these times and situations, but depending on where trying to go, it varies. So people, there's plenty of islands around the world, and some are small, some are big as well. Now it all varies down to the size and the type of people that live on islands. Like what I'm trying to say is like how COVID-19 spreads easily. And so there's this island called the St. Helena. The St. Helena is a really, really small island. This island doesn't have many people. It's not really huge in size, and it's not that bad. The location and everything about its scenery is quite beautiful when you think about it. Now, today I'm going to talk about this topic, but if you want to like share your thoughts or opinions on this topic or anything else, you should definitely give me a call on 078 52 473 473. Now, we also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is Relaks, relax with a K. We also go live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So turn on the notification icon over there that you would never miss out on a live stream. Now, this now you could also you could check us out on our social media platforms, which is on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and whatnot. So we're all over the place. If you want to check us out, that is Relaks. Now, St. Helena, it is quite a remote island. It's really small. It's not too far from South Africa. It's quite a really small place. Now, to be precise, its width is 10 by 5 miles. Now, that's not big because that's quite small. It's really small, 10 by 5 miles. We could go on like an entire car journey within like a few hours. Okay, now that going around that entire island from one end to the other, that would definitely be like a very small journey actually, because like 10 by 5 miles, that's super small compared to like what UK is over here. It's just like a really small fraction. And even like if you go check on Google Maps St. Helena, it's really hard to spot because the island itself is quite small. Now, even though it's small, it's got plenty of fun things to do, and it's packed in with like all these entertaining things you could see, and it's also got a lot of history in it as well. So St. Helena is the place you should go if you want to get away from everything. If you want like an escape from reality, because St. Helena is quite outdated with like what outside society is and everything over there. Because internet wasn't introduced to them until 2015. Like for us, it was introduced way earlier than that, and now St. Helena was introduced to internet by 2015. Now that's super old for them. Like they're still behind even at the present date. They're still not up to date with the modern technologies or anything that we are facing. So if you want to like travel to this remote area, this area that you can like escape from reality, get go back in time in a way, St. Helena is definitely a place you should try visiting. On top of that, the COVID-19 vaccination system over there, 98% of the people over there are vaccinated. Now that is really good, because it's really easy also for them to stay vaccinated and not spread the COVID-19 virus, given that the island is quite small. That also means the residents over there aren't many residents who live in this island. So that's really convenient, that's easy. The spread of COVID-19, like if anyone over there got the COVID-19 virus, it'll definitely spread like wildfire in that place, because it's a small place, got a lot of people in there, around 4,600 residents in this place. So if you're going there, you have to go under the normal rules and regulations, which is getting vaccinated, the second and first vaccination. You have to definitely get both of them. And on top of that, you would definitely need to book your ticket through the government portal. If you're traveling from the UK, you had to go to the government portal and book your ticket from there. There are many rules and regulations that you should check out. But other than that, there's nothing much. It's the normal COVID-19 vaccination system, being quarantined for 14 days once you travel to a country. It's pretty simple. So now St. Helena is 1,000. It's about 1,000 miles away from the most closest country to it, which is South Africa. Now that is really good. And to travel to this country, you have to go to South Africa first, because most of the flights are from South Africa to St. Helena, or you can even travel from boat from South Africa to St. Helena, which is really good, really convenient, and whatnot. Now, before I continue with this show, I'm going to show you a little bit of who we are at Relax Radio. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9 on the Vibe, where I bring you vibes from different places and all across the globe in case you want to travel to those places. Now, today I am talking about St. Helena, this really small, remote island that you should definitely try visiting in case you want to get out of reality, go back in time, and enjoy this naturally landscaped area. It's not got many people and it's not got the COVID-19 virus, so you don't need to worry about that. The place is really beautiful. The landscaping is 100% natural, except for the houses that are man made, which is pretty obvious. But other than that, everything is really calm in this place. So now, this island, you probably have come across this name, St. Helena, quite a few times, and you must be like wondering from the back of your head, where have I heard this name before? It's quite familiar. Well, that's because Napoleon Bonaparte was sentenced to prison in this island. He lived in the town of Longwood. He lived in the town of Longwood. He died. He was exiled to this island in the 1851. In 1851, and ever since then he lived there, and he died in Longwood House, which is now this place has historic value. I told you, because its historic value mainly comes from the fact that Napoleon Bonaparte used to live here. That's good, that's cool, because history is something that you should definitely explore or get into when you're traveling, because you travel to a place. Let's say you travel to this small island. Now we're talking of St. Helena, for instance. You travel to St. Helena, you just go there, you just look at the ocean around this island, the landscaping, the wildlife in this island, and like come back. When you come back home, you're just going to be like, oh, I just went to St. Helena and came back. I only saw like beautiful landscape, animals, and ocean. You don't have anything else to say. So definitely knowing historic value is definitely one of the plus sides of traveling. You don't have to get educated, because like if you could either get a tour guide or just go and explore for yourself. Like that's the easiest part of traveling. But given the situation, tour guides are a necessary must in many countries. Unfortunately, for St. Helena, it's not a compulsory thing to get a tour guide, so no need to worry on that. Now back to Napoleon Bonaparte. He has left his history in this place. He also has a museum in this place just dedicated for him. It's got all the history about Napoleon Bonaparte, what he did, and who he is exactly, and why he was sent to exile over here. So this is definitely a place you should check out, the Napoleonic Museum in this place. It stands at like a really simple spot, because like I said, the island is not that big. It's not too small either. It's 1,000 by 500 miles. Now that is not huge. It's like a 1 day journey around the island. It's not going to take long. So if you want to explore the entire island, you can definitely do it in less than 2 to 3 days. And on top of that, this is a tropical island. It's made of plenty of volcanoes. Its landscaping is 100% natural, because all these volcanoes now, they're all dead volcanoes. They're not going to erupt anymore, which is really safe in case you were concerned about the volcanoes. Now, like I said, most of the scenery around this place is natural. So all of these landscapes, the hills, the mountain-like areas, the springs, they've all been formed because of these very old ancient volcanoes that are now dead. Now, you know how when volcanoes they die, they leave a lot of ashes around, or they even leave these natural, like beautiful rocks that were like naturally sculptured, and we have no clue even how they just formed. They were just formed, like, it's just that. And now, when these places are tropical lands, since it's a tropical land, it definitely has a lot of plantations. It's really beautiful. It's got trees. And on top of that, as a UK person, this is going to be really cool, is the fact that this is a British heritage country. It's a British heritage island. So indeed, you're definitely going to find a picture of the Queen no matter where you go. Maybe not everywhere, but you're going to find it in some small places, some homes, or random places in this place, since it's a British heritage island. Now, that is something really cool. And us British people, us UK people will definitely like that. So it's something that we definitely like that. And if you're wondering what kind of language they speak over there, their lingo is really simple. It's English. Yeah, we all speak English. That's really convenient for us, and we don't have to worry about like learning another language or getting a translator when we go to travel there. Now, since all of these lands are landscaped naturally, and it's quite small in area, it's got beautiful mountains, really tall mountains, that you can do many things with. Like, for instance, you can go hiking. Now I'm going to talk more about going hiking, or what you can expect to see when you get onto this island, right after this short break from a little bit words from our sponsors. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt. And you're on the show, The Vibes, where I bring you vibes from all over the world and from different cultures and different places you're interested in traveling to. Now, today I was talking about this little island called St. Helena and all the things you could do in this place, or even go and visit and see. So, now St. Helena is a really small place. It's not that huge, it's only 10 miles by 5. So now that's not pretty big, because the 10-mile journey is like not that long when you travel in car. Now, I was talking about like the landscape over there, how it's very natural, and everything over there is like quite outdated, because internet for them was introduced in the late 2015. Now, that is quite old compared to where we are. We're so advanced and we are way ahead of time compared to them. Now, even though internet was introduced to them in 2015, it is still very expensive over there, because like for us internet is like really cheap. It's like such a common thing. We can even get free internet from like all these small fast food restaurants and all of that, but internet over here is quite expensive. It's actually a luxury to get like internet in this place. Like it's available if you travel there as a tourist, but it's definitely going to be very expensive when you go there. Now, even though like this place is quite outdated, so there's no ATM banks there. You'll have to carry your cash in hand when you're traveling there. If you want to go shopping, you have to go before 4 p.m. All the stores in this place close before 4 p.m., and none of them are opened on weekends as well. So you had to do your shopping on weekdays and before 4 p.m. Now, that's something that you need to stay cautious in case you want to get some ornaments or something to remember from St. Helena once you travel there. Also, on top of that, like I said, everything's outdated over here. Not everything's outdated, but things a little bit old school. They go really slow, and there's this really slow flow. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. But before that, I want you to give me a call, or send me a message on the number, which is 07852473473. We also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is RELAKS, relax with a K. We also go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So don't miss us over there. You can turn on the notification icon when you go and check us out. And we go live on weekdays on these platforms. Now, it's quite an outdated place in Helena. Even though there's nothing much you can do indoor, everything over there is like done outdoor. If you want to buy your ornaments, you have to buy them on weekdays before 4 p.m. and not on weekends. Now, traveling to here like earlier was quite hard, because there was a ship called the RMS of St. Helena. It was traveling. It had been doing its thing for like 27 years, and it ended its journey on the early 2018. Now, that's sad. But luckily, to recover from that loss, an airport was built in St. Helena on 2017. Now, flights go there on a regular weekly basis from Jamaica, from South Africa to this place. So if you want to go, you can still definitely go on a boat ride if you want, but that's going to take 5 days if you want to travel from South Africa to St. Helena on a ship or boat. But you don't want to waste time when you're traveling. You want to like spend most of that time exploring the place. So it's really cool that they've introduced like an airport for this place finally in 2017. Now that makes it way more easier for us to get to St. Helena. It happens actually twice a week flight, so you don't have to worry if you miss one week, one flight for a week. You have another one to worry about, another one to catch on. Now, like I spoke about, how most of the landscape in here is quite natural. It's all built on dead volcanoes. They are not going to erupt anymore. And now that's really sweet, because like there's so many mountain like landscapes over there for people who love hiking, who want to go on that adventure, climbing up these really huge, tall mountains. This place is a really outdoor like place, because when you're indoor, you have nothing much to do. Outdoors is the place to be when you're in St. Helena. They have the tallest mountain over there goes up to 823 meters. This mountain is called the Diana's Peak. So it's at 823 meters. It's the highest point of the island. But then there's something a little bit more higher risk over there. It may not be tall as this mountain, but it has 699 steps, and it's called the Jacob's Ladder. Now, this even though it has 699 steps, it stands tall at 180 meters. Now, the reason why this is more devastating is because of the way the mountain is. The 823 mountain is just quite straight. It's like very simple. But this mountain is has like daredevil like sculptures. These landscaping is quite irregular, so that's why it's really hard. And people who complete this, they do get an award from the sen from the Jamestown that is up after you complete this. So after you complete this hike, you can go to the St. James. You can go to the St. Jamestown, which is over there, and you could definitely chill. But you also get awarded for doing this because it's a very risky mountain to climb, and that's why you get an award. But on top of that, even after you get the award, you get another award. You get this amazing 360-degree view from this place, because like it's the second tallest place, and then on top of that you have the 823-meter mountain. Both of them are quite tall, and you get like a 360-degree view. So now that's something that it's worth climbing for. And so, like, even though there's so much other things you can do when you get to this place. For instance, like, this place it's quite small. It's in the middle of the ocean, right next to South Africa. But what's cool about this, it's natural ecosystems that are over there. It holds ecosystems for many birds, fishes, and cool plants as well. So in case you want to go on a tour on the ocean, you could definitely see plenty of fish over there. And by fish, I mean like dolphins, in bunches of dolphins, schools of dolphins, and whale sharks. A lot of whale sharks live close to this island. So if you're going scuba diving, that is something you will not miss out, because whale sharks are quite huge. They're really big. You can't miss them out if you're like going scuba diving in this area. But if you do come around in the May season, when it's around May, you could even come across like a school of sharks when you're swimming. Now, these sharks aren't dangerous. They're really friendly, even though they're quite huge. So if you want to go scuba diving, you're not going to miss out on many things. Only thing you're going to miss out is on land, but you get to see sharks, whale sharks as well, dolphins, and there's birds as well, a bunch of tropical birds. Now, birds are something we every day see, but these birds are not that normal. They are the red-chested birds. They're called red-billed tropical birds. Now, like, you can go on a tour guide, you can go on a tour on the water, and you could definitely see this. But there is someone you should definitely visit when you go to the island. Yes, he is a tortoise. He's a giant tortoise, and he has been living there for 190 years. And he's quite old. He's like a really famous person in this island. You ask anyone, they would definitely know where he is. He's been living in the plantation house for the past 190 years, and he's one of the oldest creatures to even work there, because turtles are really old. They also, like, descend from dinosaurs. They have this reptile like skin on them. So turtles are technically like they're amphibians, but they really look alike to dinosaurs as well. Now, when you go to this really tall mountains over there, you get a 360-degree view. You're definitely going to see a heart-shaped waterfall, or a rock as well, because there's a rock over there that's the shape of a heart, and right next to it is also a heart-shaped waterfall because of this. So there's plenty of scenery in this place. There's so many things you could definitely see in this place. Beautiful animals, beautiful landscaping that is all natural. None of these are man-made except for the houses over there, which is pretty obvious. But other than that, it's quite a beautiful place. Now, you come to St. Helena. You travel from either a boat, which is like a 5-day journey, or on the new planes that have been there for the past 3-4 years. So you're wondering like where to stay or where to go. I'm going to tell you on where to stay or where to go right after this short break from our sponsors and a little bit of who we are. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9. And you're on the show, The Vibes, where I bring you vibes from different cultures, different places, all places you're interested to travel. Now, today I was talking about this place called St. Helena. St. Helena is a small island. It's got everything, and it's packed with like culture, it's got history in it, it's got beautiful landscaping, it's got beautiful wildlife. Now, you get here, what are you going to do? You need to figure out a place to stay or what to do, or, where you're going to reside for the, a few days. Because, you can explore this place in like less than a week because it's quite small. So you want to like figure out what to do, where to stay. But I'll tell you all about that right after, you try giving me a small call or even send me a message on the number, which is 07852 473 473. We also go live on other platforms such as Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and we also have apps on the App Store. That is Relaks, Relax, on the App Store or Play Store. You can download our apps over there so you can listen to us from wherever you're listening at your own convenience. Now, you're in St. Helena. You have no clue on, where to stay. But recently there was this luxurious hotel called the Mantis in St. Helena that was open. It's quite luxurious. It goes to a three-star rating, and it's the most luxurious hotel over there in case you want a place to stay. And it's located at Jamestown, which is, the place, it's really hard to climb there. You get an award for climbing there, and it's got a beautiful view even on this hill. So St. Helena is a luxurious hotel. The Mantis is a place to stay if you're looking for luxury and comfort. But other than that, there are like some small places you can stay, some small islands, some small islands there that do offer, breakfast and bed. So that's really convenient. All you need to prepare is your dinner or lunch as well. But there are more options as well. There's little guest house over there and small hotels. But the best option out of all of them would be to self cater or take care of yourself. You could go camping over there. The island is quite small, so you don't have to worry about like a wild tiger or lion because they don't live there. So the wildlife is quite friendly over there. So going camping or taking like care of yourself, self catering is the best option because it's more cost friendly. You won't have to worry about carrying the cost of staying in the hotel because hotels are quite expensive. But taking care of yourself, camping, you get the whole outdoor experience. Now that would be something fun with all these tropical birds, the landscaping, and you don't have to worry like when you're exploring a island. And let's say you want to stay in a hotel, you go to this location you wanted to go and explore. But after like exploring this location, now you have to come back to your hotel. But when you go self camping, you can go to that location and camp somewhere close to the location you went than rather going to a hotel. Now that's convenient because you can like start your journey from the following day onwards from a really close spot where you stopped than rather going to a hotel and starting the journey all over again. But that's not a huge issue because this island after all is quite a small place. Now, this island has a few delicacies. Its food is quite something, because it's located in the ocean, the South African Ocean. It's quite small. And the main food you would get there is basically fish, mainly tuna, our steaks, or fish cakes. Everything, most of the meals over there will be fish based. But for them, beef, chicken are considered a delicacy in this country. They also have this special pumpkin. They also feature pumpkins on their meals a lot for some reason because it grows there quite a lot. But the delicacy in this place, the most biggest thing they would like to offer you is called tangy. Tangy is made of prickly pear, and gin and brandy and coffee liquor. Now it's got those few ingredients, and this is one of their biggest delicacies in the country, in the island. So if you go visit there, definitely ask for tangy. Now, if you like coffee, coffee is something we all need since when we wake up. We all used to like drinking coffee early in the morning. Well, St. Helena also makes their own coffee. They in fact sell it here in London. So that's really convenient for us. In case you travel here and you like their coffee, you could definitely purchase their coffee in London. And Napoleon Bonaparte also liked their coffee as well. So now That's something cool to know. You're like, oh, Napoleon Bonaparte like this coffee, and I like this coffee too. I have the same taste as Napoleon Bonaparte. So now that's going to be something cool to think about. Now you get in there is quite easy. I spoke about it. It's only going to be a 6 hour flight from Johannesburg to St. Helena, and Johannesburg is in South Africa. So it's only going to be a 6 hour flight. Or if you're going to come in a boat or ship, it's going to take 6 to 5 days. But ships aren't used much over there because it's a waste of time, to be honest. And now these are all the things you need to know in case you're going to travel to St. Helena island to visit, a really small island with beautiful landscaping. Literally, most of the things are natural. Most of the people here are outdated. All you need to worry is staying in touch with your friends or family and relatives who are in the country you're coming back from. Because this place, like I said, is quite outdated. Internet is a luxury for them. They weren't introduced to internet. Even the idea of a selfie is quite new to them. Their phones they use aren't quite as up to date with the phones that we use. Like we're using the latest iPhone or whatever Samsung has to offer, and these guys they are probably using Nokia or the Nokia brick phone or something touch screen, and not that they're not even close to 4G. They're currently at 3G. So that is something, sad because, technology is such a huge thing in nowadays society. So if you're traveling there, you definitely have to worry about your money that you're carrying because they don't have ATMs there. You had to carry your money in cash on hand when you go there. And your technology, if you work from your laptop or phone, then that's something you have to worry about more because of the internet issues. Other than that, this place is really beautiful. It has so much history in it. It's got Napoleon Bonaparte. And if you want like a quick drink in this area, you don't have to worry since it is a British heritage country, British heritage island. You don't have to worry about that. They've all got pubs in this small joints like all over the area. So that is something you don't have to worry about. And like I said, it's a British heritage country, British heritage island. You're definitely going to see pictures of Queen Elizabeth around the place in either houses or big buildings as well. Now, this place has all natural landscaping, has has beautiful views, has mountains to hike, has the natural wildlife, dolphin, sharks, uh, whale sharks as well. So this place is definitely a place you should check out in case you want to travel to a place to like escape from reality. And on top of that, it is in the green list, so that's really convenient. Now I spoke about how traveling to countries, what are the precautions you need to take. So you'll definitely have to be concerned because I also spoke about going camping in this area. Now that's something you need to think about because it is still at a 98 percentage. The COVID-19 rate, the COVID virus rate in this island is at 98%, and only there's like about 44,600 people who live here. So going camping wouldn't be one of the best options in case you're considering that, because you also had to get quarantined once you get to this place. So camping wouldn't be the best option, even though it would be one of the most fun options out there, because camping, you get to see like all the wildlife and everything, you get to explore it all. But given the situation, you wouldn't be able to do that much. So that's something you need to be concerned about when you're traveling to St. Helena. Now I'm going to be talking about more interesting topics, different cultures and different things from all across the globe, different places and things that you should be interested in. Now we all know where the US is, United States of America. There's North America, South America, but I'm going to talk about this interesting culture that's there in America. It's things that only exist in America but do not exist outside of America. It's something, when you talk to a regular American, they're going to be like fascinated by these things. Or even if you travel to America and you notice this culture difference over there, you're going to be really fascinated about this. I'm going to talk all about these fascinating cultures in America right after this short break from our sponsors. Yes, this is Relax, and you're with me, your host Matt, on the vibes till 9. So I talk about different cultures, different places, anything from like traveling to another place. I talk all about those kind of topics. So I spoke about previously about like this place called St. Helena. Now it's a really small place that if you are interested in traveling to, you should check out. But I'm going to talk about how America has this kind of system where they have this very unique culture where they believe they are the center of it all. That's my perspective. I feel like America has this thing. They believe that they're the center of it all. If it happens in America, it happens all over. But that's not the case here, because there are some things, there are many things, in fact, that happen in America that are quite unusual for people who are not from America. And for example, let's take the portion sizes. Here in the UK, the portion sizes are quite small, not too small. They're just like perfect for like a normal person to eat. But the portion sizes in America, UK, in America are quite huge. They're really big. They'd actually be enough for two people. And like that's not the only thing that's fascinating about America. It's just that there's so many things that they think are normal that are normal to us. Now you should definitely give me a call on the number. The number is 07852473 in case you want to like give me a call and tell me more about this topic or talk about anything you want. You should definitely give me a call on the number. And we also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is Relaks, relax with a K, on the App Store or Play Store. We also go live on platforms such as Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you go to check us out over there, turn on the notification icon so you would never miss us out when we go live. Now, I'm talking about like how America has this culture where they believe that, whatever happens in America is normal, but it's actually not normal to other countries. Now, the most common thing, us people from not from America, we're used to seeing like money in different colors, different sizes, and these all represent, the value of the money. Like more value in the money, the bigger the money, right? But in America, all money has like the same color, the same size. So that's going to be a little bit complicated. Like you're traveling to America and you're going to be like, the $2 note, it looks the same as $100 note. So you're going to be confused with this standard they have over there on like how they handle money, because it all looks the same, because there's plenty of other countries, other cultures. The money over there are like so colorful. They're really different. And they might be even orange or purple or some other color. But over here it's all the bland green color. It's just really simple, it's really basic. It all goes under the same standard, which is really confusing for people who travel to America. Now, another thing, that's really different in America is the amount of ice they serve in drinks or anything, any beverages you order. And that's quite annoying because, when I order a drink, I want more of my drink than ice in it. Because in like when I go to a restaurant or McDonald's, for example, when I order Coca-Cola or Sprite or something, i'm going to get my I'm going to get my drink. It's basically Coca-Cola or Sprite, and it's not got much ice in it. If I want only, I put ice in it. I ask them to put ice, and that's all that happens. But in America, it is like a tradition to put ice in their drinks, and not just a regular amount of ice, and seemingly huge amount of ice in their drinks, which is really, really not something I want, because ice easily melts down. So when the ice melts down in your drink, you're basically going to have water with some sweet beverage or sour beverage as well, which is not that pleasant. But in America, it is a huge thing. It's a huge deal to put a lot of ice in your drinks, which is really, really not something I'm used to. And definitely for anyone outside America, they're not going to be used to this. And another thing, that Americans find normal, which, people who have studied geology would not, if you study the maps, it's not normal. Okay. So now America, when you say America or US, they think it means like people who live in America, they mean it's America as a whole. What I mean by that is, there's North America, there's South America, and then there's America in the middle of them. Now, when you talk to a normal American person and you state the word America or US, they think that they are the only part of it. They think they're the entire whole part of it, which is really, really absurd, because there's so many other parts, there's so many other things, and there's a reason why those countries are called North America and South America. But Americans don't want to believe that. They don't like to consider the fact that there are more countries. They just believe that they are the US. The US is a term they know that it's just used to like compile both all three of these countries together: North America, South America, and America. But for Americans, the US means just America, which is quite, it's not normal, because they should then change the maps if that's the case they want to like run by, because the maps state facts, and Americans want to believe that, like, that's kind of weird, and it's not something that we're used to seeing. And another, now Americans, they want to change up a lot of things that are seemingly normal to us happens in around 90% of the world. And they just want to change them into this really weird system that is quite different for us. And that would one of them would be the dating system, like how they put dates in their system. So for example, like here in the London, we put our months and we put our days and years in this order, whereas America, they put their order as month, day, year. Now here in the US, we put it as day, month, year. Now the format is quite different in America. Like, I've been talking about like how America is so different from other countries. They just want to like stick to their beliefs, their thoughts, and they want to be America itself. And also, like, there's so many cultures, there's so many people over there who think, that America is the center of it all. For instance, like, there's so many YouTubers like who believe, like, what happens in America is like, what happens all over the world, which is not true, because there's so much more happening around the world. There's so much more culture to see. But American culture is quite it's more to themselves than other people. It's more about America as alone, but not other countries as well. They don't want to consider other people as well. So America is quite a self-centered place, I would say, and that is my personal opinion. So America is really different. Food is so different over there. The portion sizes are enormous over there, and ice cubes on that are like more enormous than the drink. And I'm not a huge fan of cold drinks as well. So if you want cold and you want ice cubes in your drink, America is a place you should definitely visit, because you're going to get like 25% of your drink you want, and that 75%, that the rest of it is basically going to be huge cubes of ice. And when the ice melts, it's going to be water, and that's not going to be a drink anymore of the drink you want. Like, if it's not going to be Coca-Cola, it's going to be water cola or something like that. And that's really weird, because America is not a normal country, I would like to say that. No offense to America, but that they have these unique cultures, these unique ways of like looking at things. They're really unique as a country, though. You could like definitely say that they're really unique. The way they think, the way they do things are really unique. Now, another thing that's really, 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 you'll notice this once you step into America. It's that there is an American flag all over the place. It's not just like, or at a bank or at, at the White House. It's all over the place when you go to America. You go to America, you step into the airport, that's usual to see the flag, right? But when you go out of the airport, you're going to see like a flag on a person's car, like a small flag inside a person's car, or inside people's houses, or even a regular restaurant. They take pride in their flag, which is something, that it's really admirable. But they put it like everywhere, even like on their kids' bicycles. They stick a small flag of the American flag and just put it over there, which is really, it's something to look up to, but it's quite absurd. And it's not irritating to the eye, I would say, but I wouldn't want to be like seeing the same thing like everywhere. Every place I turn to, every place I look at, it's just going to be everywhere. So now that's something, it's America. And they have their own culture, their own ways of approaching things, their own ways of doing things, and that's all in America. Now I'm going to talk more about how America does their things, and how they're different from other people as well, right after this short break from our sponsors. Hello, I'm your host Matt, and I'm gonna be here be here till 9. So you're here with me, Matt, on the vibes, where I bring you vibes from different cultures, different places you're interested in traveling. Now today I was talking about Saint Helena and this different culture in UK, in the US, where they believe like what happens in US happens all over the world, but it's actually not happening all over the world. It only happens in the US, and it's quite strange. Some of them are not that weird, but some of them are quite unusual. They're really unusual because, like I spoke about, how the American flag is all over the place. The portion of food is quite huge in these kind of places in America. And how America thinks the US is only the America when there's North America and South America. And I also spoke about the unique dating system they have there. They put the month, the date, and then the year, which is not something that we do here in the UK. Now, there's so many other things that happen only in America. But if you want to like know more about these things, do stick around. You should also try giving me a call on the number, which is 07852473473. We also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is Relaks, relax with a K. And we also go live on the platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So do check us out over there when you go, and when you go, you should also turn on the notification icon so you would never miss a live stream when we go live. Now, there are many weird things that happen in America, and America is quite unique, I would say, even though it's some of them are not usual, some of them are quite absurd, if I would say. And another thing is like the advertisements they put in America, they're not usual, because usually advertisements, when you see it's something like really fascinating, something that catches our eye, it would either, like for example, it would be like an advertisement of a cereal, for example, like Kellogg's or someone. They'd be advertising about their new cereal that has been put out there in the market. It might be something like banana flavor or something like that. But we like chocolate, and it's something like that. When it comes to advertisements in other countries as well. But really common advertisement you'd see in America are prescription drugs. And prescriptions are only given when you go and meet a doctor. The doctor will tell you these are the medicines you need to take. These are what you need to take in. These are the conditions. They'll give you, they'll do a full analysis on you, and then they'll give you a prescription. But in America, the ads you get over there are about prescriptions, mainly about antidepressant and things like that. But it's quite weird because prescriptions should be given through a doctor, not through advertisements, which is a very unique thing. When you go to America, you're not, like, I wouldn't expect to take a prescription from an advertisement I see. For example, if like I'm watching TV and then suddenly an advertisement comes up saying, "Oh, you got this sickness, you got this illness, you should definitely take this prescription." I don't even know if this prescription is like accurate. I don't know if it's like even the right thing. So I'd be really skeptical if if I see an ad like that. So that is something, another weird thing, that only exists in America, but does not happen in other countries as well. So there's so much more, how this, it's just a really unique culture. And there's also like so many surveys that have been done in order to check, like, whether these only happen in America. And yeah, they all only happen in America, which is quite unique. So, like, I was talking about prescriptions. Now, let's say you want to go to the pharmacy in America. Well, the pharmacies in America, they're basically like your typical grocery store, because here in the UK, pharmacies, they usually just have medicine. But in America, they've got it all. They've got like your normal grocery, your vegetables, your small drinks, energy drinks, and all of those. They've got it all in the grocery store, in these pharmacies. So the pharmacy over there basically becomes a grocery store in America, which is really convenient. You don't have to worry about going to a pharmacy, especially just like get only medicine. When you're over there, you could definitely get like all these other rations as well, energy drinks or some food or something. So you could get the snack as well, which is really, that's actually not bad. Combining a grocery store with a pharmacy, it's an actually smart technique to do, because it just makes life a lot more easier. And that's something I've noticed in the American culture. Life just becomes really more easy in for them, even though like it's really different. not everything becomes easy, but they intend they mainly go to the side of making life way more easier, which is something really cool that America does. But they also do it in this really odd manner, and it's quite unique. Now, they have a lot of unique things. Their food is really unique. The portion sizes, the way they give beverages is quite unique. But something that would be really, really unusual for our palates would be bread. The bread we are used to doesn't have much sugar, right? But in America, bread over there is really sweet. Like, it's super sweet over there. It's basically like eating a sugar bun, because they put like a huge load of sugar in their bread. So if you're not used to like eating sweet bread, well, you'll have to get used to it once you get to the US. And it's something that I'm not used to, because like, if I want my bread sweet, I'll either rub some Nutella or jam or something, sweet. I'll even just sprinkle sugar in case I want it to be sweet. But the people in America, their bread is like plenty sweet. It's super sweet. It's not something my palate's used to. I'm like used to like regular bland bread. It's just like a bun. It's just like a sandwich. You can put your bread in between some meat, some vegetables, and just put it over there, and it's not going to taste sweet. But over here in the US, it's going to taste it's going to taste sweet. It's going to taste more of like a dessert than some savory item, which is something really unique. And that's something I've noticed. Like, America has this unique personality, I'd say. They do things in their very own unique way. It's really outstanding out of all the other countries. And you know I it's just different, and it's something that my mind is like, wow, why are they even doing this? There's a much more simpler way. There's a much more nicer way you can do this. But they want to do it in their way. Now, I also spoke about how like they advertise prescriptions. Well, that's not the only thing they advertise. They advertise so many things, but the advertisement rate on American television shows or a national TV is insane. The amount of ads they play around, like, for example, let's say there's a 30-minute show, you're watching something really interesting. Well, that 30-minute show, during that 30 minutes, they're going to play four advertisement breaks, and each advertisement break is going to be about like an absurd amount of time. They play an advertisement break, an advertisement slot before the show starts, and at the end of the show. And in between the show, they even play two other advertisement slots. So now, that's, if it was small, it wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is that it is enormous. It's a huge advertisement. They play a ton of advertisements during these breaks. And I know advertisements is like a huge way of making money. The advertisement industry is like a really huge way of making money, and just advertising a lot would definitely be profitable for American television. But when you do that, you're definitely going to chase away your customers, because they're going to be bored about the advertisements they see. And I feel like that's no wonder why most of the people in America, they use Netflix and rather watch TV shows on national television, because Netflix is like a really, really huge thing in America. It's so it's such a normal thing in America that you could just watch anything. You go to like a friend's house in America, let's see, and they're not going to load up national television. They're going to load up Netflix or Disney Plus or some online paid platform, because they rather pay for something that doesn't have advertisements than something that does have advertisements, which makes sense, because I'd be pissed. I'd like, if I'm watching this interesting show, I definitely do not want to see advertisements more than the show, because it's not interesting. It's not something that captivates us. And shows are why we are watching the national television. But when they play advertisements, we're definitely going to go away from the show. We're going to try watching something else. Or if we could just watch the show online for free without even like looking at these advertisements, we would definitely do that. And that's something really odd. So if you're trying to like go to US and just watch some normal television on the local TV channels, prepare yourself for some absurd amount of advertisements over there. It's really long. Now, so like, we have a lot of pubs here in the UK. And pubs, when you drink, when you finish your drink, you had to pay for a refill, right? But in the US, a refill is actually free. Refills are really free in the US. So you finish your drink and you're going to get another drink free. And that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good culture in the US. I feel like if they implement it here in like other places, different countries as well, that would be really cool. But I've also noticed this trend towards food in the US. The portions are really massive, so you get more food. And likewise, the drinks, you finish your drinks, you're going to get another refill for free. Now that is awesome because there's so much drinks out there that I like Fanta, like I like these fizzy drinks and all of them. So if I can get like an infinite amount of refills on them, that's something I would enjoy personally. Now that's so cool because there's so many things that happen there, so many things that also go on. Now I've got like this. Hey Timothy, you said hi. So how's it going, Timothy? How are you doing, Timothy? I hope you're doing good. Uh, well, it's actually really true. You know how America has this cool culture. Timothy over here has commented. It's absolutely true. It's wow. It's super true. And hey, Matt, give me a shout out. All right, Timothy. Hello, and you're on the vibes with me, Matt. So if you want to like know more about cultures or different places, I'll bring you the vibes from those places and different places across the globe. So Timothy, do stick around so you get to know more about these vibes or different places from across the world. And so now I was talking about how America has this own different culture, own different the different way of looking at things. So different, they have their own different personality, I would say. And as their own part, as them themselves, is really one of the most absurd in culture things I would say in the US. Because like there's North America is like a unique country itself, and then South America on top of that is more unique itself. But the US is just a compilation of those three. But the fact that US, the America, it just considers themselves as all three of them in one is one of the most weirdest things I would have to say. Now I'm going to talk more about more different cultures, more different things that happen there in the US. So if you want to know more about them, you should definitely stick around right after this break because I'm going to be bringing you more interesting and more weird facts that different cultures from the US. So do stick around, right? And I'll be right back after this short break from our sponsors. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9. And you're on the show, The Vibes, with me. So I'm bringing you vibes from different cultures, different places, and different places you're interested in traveling. So it's all going to be like different. It's all going to be new. It's like a whole different culture. I'm just bringing it all to you here on The Vibes. So you can catch us up. You can catch me on The Vibes. I go live on different platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I'm on these platforms. We go live on weekdays. Relax Radio, we go live on weekdays. You can catch us on these apps. We also have apps on the Play Store and App Store, which is called Relaks, Relax with a K. So you should definitely check us out over there. And in case you want to just give me a call, or have to say anything, you want to send me a message, you should definitely give me a call on the number. The number is 07852 473 473. Now, like I'm today talking about, how America has this different culture, this different thing happening in America, that it's really unique. It doesn't happen in other places around the world, because America, they like standing on their own. They like standing on themselves, and it's quite funny in my perspective, in my opinion. But some of them are really cool. Some of them are not as weird as the others. Like most the ones that I find really cool are the facts that they give free refills like after you finish your beverages or your drinks. So that's something really really cool, like infinite refills. Now that's something I want, because I it been like having the freedom of not paying for every single drink you drink. Now that would be something really fun. But like other than that, there are some other weird feats, other weird cultures, weird things that happen there in the US. So now, one of the most weirdest things, most uncomfortable things I would like to say that happens in the US is how bathrooms work there. Now, it's like a regular bathroom, but the only thing is the way they've placed the gaps between bathroom stalls. Like bathroom stalls, they should be like very private. They should not show too much, but the gaps in these bathroom stalls are really huge. You could like see, like if you want, you could like peep in, and you could see what's happening in there. So now that is something really uncomfortable, because like I respect my privacy. I don't want to be out there, but the fact that there's a gap where you can like definitely like literally just go there and you can see what's happening on the other side of the door is really uncomfortable. So if you go to a bathroom in the US, you'll definitely have to prepare yourself for this uncomfortable scene. So unless you're going, if you're staying in like a luxurious hotel or a normal regular hotel and you have your own private bathroom, you do not have to worry about that. So in case you're traveling to the US, just do not go to a private bathroom, a public bathroom, and because you'll have to be prepared for this uncomfortable situation. I personally wouldn't like to go through this. So there's so many things that happen in the US that are really really unique. But I okay, so coffee in the US is drunk in like huge amounts, which something that I actually do. I drink a lot of coffee, but it's actually like an unhealthy amount of coffee though that I drink. But in the US, drinking an enormous amount of coffee is really normal, because like when I order coffee from a normal local coffee shop here, it's quite small, it's not that big, it's like decent, and it does the thing, and I drink it really quickly. But in the US, drinking coffee is like, it's like this it's like its own different thing going on over there, where the cups are like enormous, they're super huge, they're like they're like literally the size of my face, the size of a cup. And people drink it while they're walking around the city or walking around the place in US. So like that's something, it's not bad, it's just not different. It is different, it's not like a wowing culture, but it is definitely something unique that's happening here, that's happening there in the US. So there's plenty of things, and food is one of the most fascinating things that happen there in the US culture. They have enormous portion sizes, they give a lot of ice with their beverages, and you get free refills. But when you get like enormous portion size, you're definitely going to have a lot of leftovers, right? So the thing that happens here is many people, they do have leftovers when they finish like a meal. So they do take it away. They take away. They order their takeaway, but it's like also become this culture where they don't have to tell the waiter that, yo, I want to take my food home because this is too much for me. They don't want to say that because it's become such a norm thing in their culture. If there is food remaining, the waiter already knows what to do. The waiter already will like come to your table and be like, sir, do you want me to like pack this in and give it for you to take away? Well, that's a normal thing in the US because even though it's normal for them, it's not normal for other countries. Well, a fun fact is that in France, the fact that you take leftover is actually, it's frowned upon, and there is actually a fine you have to pay, not a pay, but there is a law that has been passed on that any leftover food will be put into dog bags and is considered as waste food because it's really disrespectful for other countries. But this is quite, I actually find this like a good thing because it's not a waste of food, but you get to take it home in case it's too much, and you're saving money on that as well. That's actually a normal, I feel like that's a normal thing because I've done that plenty of times. And it's, even though it's frowned upon in some countries and some places, it is normal, right? You have this enormous meal because the portion sizes there are really enormous. You have an enormous meal for like two people and they serve it for one person, so you can't you it's definitely going to be hard to finish the entire meal. So the fact that you get to take away the rest of the food is, it's like a really normal culture over there. That's really, really, really normal. I find that really good, actually. That's not a huge problem. And so there's so much things that relate to food, because in America, in the US, the food over there is really, really weird because they've got huge food. You get to take away their food. Taking away food is like a really normal thing in their culture. The beverages come with a lot of ice. You get unlimited beverage filling, but the people serving it, it's become such a normal thing in the US. To whomever is serving you the food, you have to tip them a portion of the food, and if you don't, it is really frowned upon over there, because tipping has become such a normal culture when it comes to like serving food in the US. It's it's not something that I do, because like tipping, I believe that tipping should be given. It's not bad. It's not rude if you don't give. It's understandable why you're not giving, because there's plenty of reasons why you don't want to give a tip. It's either you feel like the waiter did a bad job, or you felt like the waiter didn't deserve it, or maybe you just didn't have the money to tip the waiter. But in the US, even if you don't have money to tip the waiter, and if the waiter did like a bad job, you still have to tip the waiter. And it's really frowned upon if you don't tip the waiter. Unlike France, like France, I spoke before, they made it a law that if you have leftovers on your plate, you had to put it out, you had to throw it to the trash because it's leftovers. You can't take it away. Well, luckily in the US, it's not there's no law that you must tip waiters, but they made it such a norm thing in the US that you have to tip your waiters. Like, it's not law, but you still have to do it because they itself have made this policy where you give them 10% of the food you paid. For example, I buy $100 meal over there, I will have to pay $10 as a tip for the waiter, which it's I feel like it's going to be quite absurd. Like, let's say I go to like this really expensive hotel to go really expensive restaurant or someplace to have a meal. I'm going to definitely have like a lot of food, and I'm going to pay like huge amount of bills. So that means I'm going to even have to be given a huge tip as well. Like $1,000 meal, like $1,000 food. I bought food for like, let's say, worth $1,000, $100 tip, and that is a lot of money. So tipping has become this huge culture in America as well. And most of the cultures over there, most of these things that happen over there, trends that happen in US, are related to food. I don't know why. I don't know how food has like become the uh, most center like thing that happens in the US, but it's weird. Now, I spoke about like, how beverages have a lot of ice, and you get free refills. They also have a standard cup to drink alcohol in, which is it's actually kind of cool, I'd say, because the cups are red color. Any red color cup in the US is basically considered an alcohol cup. It's not a normal cup. It's a cup made specifically for alcohol consumption. Because like, when you want to consume alcohol, and let's say you're like a non-alcoholic drinker, you want to drink like a regular drink, Well, and let's say all the cups over there are white color. You're not going to know whether this cup has alcohol, because if you like Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola looks really similar to alcohol. You're going to be like thinking, oh, this is Coca-Cola, and you drink alcohol. I feel like this is actually a really good trait that America has. The fact that they specify cups that have alcohol. So if you're like this person who doesn't drink alcohol, you'd know which cups don't have alcohol in them. So I kind of like this. I really do like this rule, because it makes it really normal, and that's something I like. Because biggest thing I'm noticing here that America is doing is that they take pride in their food. The way they treat food, they treat people with good food, huge loads of food. They get unlimited refills, which is amazing. I love that. And the fact that they specify what cup the drinks are coming in. So alcohol will come in red, and non-alcohol will definitely come in another color cup. It doesn't have to be white necessarily, it'll definitely come in another color cup. So food is like the biggest culture that has been created there in America. And I find that really, it's actually not the bad one, it's quite the good ones that are being considered created over there. And the most absurd one I'd say that I found over there is the fact that they're advertising prescriptions on TV. That's not something that you should do. So that's the most absurd one I found so far on what American culture is about, and I don't like that. Because prescriptions are really, it's actually a drug, right? Prescriptions, they're medical drugs, and if you take the wrong drug, you might have an allergic reaction for some drugs, and you definitely have to get a prescription from a doctor than rather an advertisement, which is something that I really don't like, and that's something I would definitely not want to see in going on around. So advertising prescriptions is something not norm. Now there's so much more weird things that happen in the US, in America, that's super not, that's not super weird. Most of them are like really kind of cultures. So if you want to know more about these cultures, I'm going to definitely talk more, because there is plenty more culture that happens in the US that is different for us who not live in the US. So I'm going to talk more about these cultures right after a short break from our sponsors. Hello, I am Matt, and you're on the show The Vibes on Relax Radio, and I'm here to bring you vibes from different cultures, different places, and all across the globe, from all places. And even if you're interested in traveling to a place, I'll definitely talk about them. You could definitely call me on the number, which is 078 52 473 473. So if you want me to talk about these different places, or if you want to even have a talk with me about these different places, do give me a call. And you should also check us out on our live platforms where we go live. That is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We also have social media platforms as well, such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and whatnot. So we're there everywhere. We are on all platforms. You could definitely catch us out on any of these platforms. And on top of that, we do have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is Relaks, relax with a K. So if you want to catch us there as well, we are there. So we are everywhere. And you could definitely catch me out on those platforms as well. So now today I'm talking about, how America has this weird culture where they it's not the weird, but most of their culture is around food. From what I've noticed, that's a trend that I've noticed that America is doing. Their cultures are mainly based around food. But other than that, some of these other cultures are not that bad, because some of them are really weird, some of them are uncomfortable. Like the fact that toilets, public toilets, have a huge gap between the doors. So anyone like who wants to like peep between them can definitely peep. And now that is uncomfortable, because I respect my privacy, but that is a very weird one that I've so far come across. And if you want to like if you want to go to US, you should definitely not go to the public bathrooms. So there's so many other things that you should consider when you're going to the US. Like, one thing that you should definitely be aware of is buying things in the US. So when we go to a grocery store and we buy something, let's say like an energy drink. We buy this energy drink, let's say it's £2, right? When we go to the cashier and we pay for this energy drink, like it's definitely not going to be £2. But when we go there, it's just going to stay the same price when we go to the cashier. But what happens in the US is, let's say now this energy drink over there, it'll definitely be like about $1.5, let's say, for example. So this energy drink, which is $1.5, when we go to the cashier, it rises up to two around. It just increases in price, and that's because the tax sales is not included in their products. Now that's something you need to be conscious. Like if you travel to the US and you're like new there, you should definitely be conscious about the tax, because in other countries tax is like already included in the product you're buying, but in US it's not included. So if you think like, this thing is really cheap, I should buy this because in my country it's quite expensive. Well, it's really simple. The only reason why it's cheap is because they've not included the taxes. So when you go to the cashier, you're going to be like, wow, how did it increase in price? So that's something, I don't like that. It's not a cool culture to have. It's a very unsettling culture, because like, you got to be aware of the tax rates on top of that. And you just got to be like you got to have extra cash in case you're like a newbie to to the US. So that is going to be one of the most absurd cultures over there. Now, another thing is, it's in many countries, college education is quite free. Like, going private education is really expensive and all that, but education is quite free in most of the countries. You can get like scholarships and all of that in other countries. But in the US, college is one of the most expensivest things, people come across. The fact that, most of the students who go into college, they always end up getting into debt. Not all of them, because some of them, their parents at least pay for college, or they somehow find a way to pay this college debt. So it is a culture in US. When you step into college, you end up coming out as a graduate of whatever degree or degree you went in for, but you also be coming out with debt to pay. So it has become like a huge culture in the US. So when you step into college, you are definitely going to come out as a person in debt. But now that's not bad. I'm not telling you, if you're a US person, you should not study in a college, because colleges, they you need education in nowadays society. It's quite essential, and there's plenty of other ways you can study. You don't have to go to college to study, I'd say, because there are colleges online, like a normal college has online courses now that they teach for free. And in fact, on top of that, Google itself teaches their own courses online, and it's all for free. You should definitely check out Google Digital Garage, because they teach education for free. And that's something really cool. I find that really amazing. And the fact that US has high rates on education, when should be something that's free. It's not something that I admire in US. That is something not really cool, I would like to say. Now, on top of that, the US has these tent of, like doing functions. They like taking functions on a big top notch, and the food in them are like really huge. So the fact that they like to throw huge functions also means that they like to do a lot of things in, like, big ways. They give big food portions, big amounts of drinks, and yeah. So what I'm trying to say is they throw an absurd amount of functions in the US. They have functions for literally everything, and even if it's a small function, it's going to be a lot. They're going to do a lot for just a simple singular function. And one function that they go really out of the way is throwing baby showers. Now, baby showers are, when a newborn baby's about to come, if it's a male or female, they just throw a celebration just for the fact a baby's going to be born. And they do this like a really lot amount in the US, which is, it's not bad, because they're celebrating the birth of a new being who's going to enter the world. But they throw it in like a huge way. It's like huge, it's in a huge way. And many people in other countries are not interested in them, but it's not bad. I definitely say it's not bad, because throwing a celebration is definitely fun. It's something you should enjoy. But the fact that they throw function in such ways that it's really loud, it disturbs other people, is what's the worst thing. Because then they love throwing parties in the US, and everyone loves parties. But the most weirdest thing is they throw parties in such big ways that it always ends up in a mess. So they throw huge absurd amounts of parties. So that's a different culture you're going to see in the US when you go there. Now there's so many things. The US is quite an open country. I would say they put change into their country. They've changed a lot. If you see the past years, there's so many things that happen in them that force them also to change. So they are different. So they've become different people. Like, that's something I would definitely say. They've gone through so many changes, and as a country they've definitely become more like the BLM movement that changed the US in such a huge way that now any act of racism would get them cancelled. So cancel culture is also like a huge thing that's been happening. It all started from the US. You do something that just offends someone, even if it's a single person, you're definitely going to get canceled. So like that culture all started from the US. US is like a huge place that it can start a simple culture and it just spreads from all over. Even though their cultures are a bit weird, their traditions are a bit weird, and they go a little bit out of the way, they also even have some really interesting cultures as well. Now if you go to the US and you want to go to a beach, there's something you should definitely watch out for. It's the fact that people over there, they consider it a norm to be topless in the beach. So in case you want to go to the beach and see topless people, well, that's something you got to prepare your eyes for, because in other countries it's really frowned upon, and people are warned, like, you should not go topless like to beach, because there's kids and all. But in the US, it's a really norm thing to, like, see that happening over there. So if you want to go to the beach, do prepare for that. If you're traveling with your family and your little ones, that is something that you should definitely be concerned about. Now, there's so many things I spoke about, different cultures that have different things, different trends that happen over there. And if you want to, like, different, if you want to, like, tell me your most weirdest culture that you heard from me, you should definitely call me on the number that is 07852 473 473. Now, do give me a call, so we could definitely talk about this different culture that happens there. And out of all of these cultures, these trends that happen there in the US, the most interesting one I find, it's the food culture over there. The food over there is really interesting. Portions are really huge. uh, you get free unlimited drinks, which is my most favorite thing. But the one that I don't like the most is the fact that they're giving prescriptions on advertisements, and the advertisement rates are really long. So those are the most things that I do not like from this list. I feel like, according to surveys and all of that, the US has the most obese people across the globe. So according to the countries, this survey that was done, US stands at number one for having the most obese amount of people. And that all makes sense because, according to these cultures and all of it, it just shows that, their food portions are huge. So they definitely eat more. So because of that, I feel like this culture of this is a main reason for why they stand at number one at, most obese, most country with the most obese amount of people. So that's kind of unhealthy, because there's so many things, you can do. If you cut down like a little bit of what you eat, you could become like a whole different person. So this culture has like affected their entire society in a huge way, and they've become their own country. They think in this very different perspective. They want to be like US is not North America and South America, so that's weird. But they also stick around flags all over the place. Not That's not bad. That's just like very independent. I would say that they're really proud of their country. And other than that, the tax rate is something you should be aware of. So if you're interested in traveling to the US, just do take a little bit of extra cash, do a little bit of research. If you're going to travel into the US, do know what you're getting yourself into, because US is a country that is very different from other countries, I would say. Now, I'm going to talk about another topic after this, and it's about Iceland. Iceland, Iceland. It's a really close, cold place. It's a beautiful place also, and it's the fact that Iceland has opened traveling again, but it's only open travel to people who are vaccinated. So if you're vaccinated and you want to travel to a country, you could definitely travel to Iceland, because Iceland is accepting people who are vaccinated. I'm going to talk more about this vaccination thing that has been going on in Iceland, and the fact that, travel is open to more people now, more countries, right after this short break. So do stick around where I talk about all of these topics about different cultures, different things that happen across the globe. So I'll be right back after this short break.